Hello everybody, Dennis here. So in this video I wanted to show how I created a character using this segmented base head. So I've built this as a byproduct from my earlier tutorial, and it allows me to really quickly modify the shapes of the head because I can quickly pick different parts of it and modify it as I see fit, and then build a new character in minutes, then combine it all together and get this type of a character in the end. This model has just the major shapes of the head, and also has eyes and teeth and gums and tongue inside. I uploaded it to my Gumroad, so you can find it here. The link is in description, and there is a 30% discount which is available for the next 3 days. Also, it includes these models inside, plus real-time recordings without the voiceover. If you get one, you'll support the channel, and yeah, let's check out how this character was made. So here I'm starting with the original head. And I'm using the brush move tool with the through all volumes option, so I can define my major features right now, and then can go and do some work on the smaller features later. So then I just switched off the through all volumes control, and every time I press A, I pick a part of the face, and then I move it around and modify it as I wish. So the idea was to build this kind of simple guy who's pretty brutal, but at the same time not bad, just a fighter. It's pretty open and honest and straight. And the whole idea about this segmented head is to give myself an ability to do the kind of humanoid characters which wouldn't be too alien, but have all the features just like slightly off. Like bigger cheekbones, bigger forehead, change the shape of a skull, just try and keep it more or less realistic. Again, the biggest advantage of this is that I can touch upon the lips or eyelids and deal with them individually, because usually you would know it's quite a nightmare to work around the lips if they're part of the head, because then you accidentally touch everything around the mouth. And now I'm doing the ears, right, and the ears are the same thing. If I want to play around with the ear shape, it's really hard to do it if it's one blob. So I'll divide it into a couple parts. And the whole process is just the move tool. Like I'm not using right now, I'm not using any brushes at all. And even later I'm only will be using a smooth tool, fill tool, and pinch tool. So here you can see I've changed the material because it's probably like a week or two later, since this head was actually done originally for a tutorial of how to do the full head and then to do the full topology, which is available on the Gumroad as well. And now later, like a few days ago, essentially, I picked it up to do extra work because I saw a great potential of the characters. I really like to explore the characters to the final, more or less final look. Well, it's not as final as building a skull. Skin shaders, texture, and all that. It's just final in terms of sculpting. And even in terms of sculpting, I wouldn't call it to be final. I would like 80% there. I didn't do all the little wrinkles and all that. So this all been combined together, except for the eyelids, right? So because eyes are so important, I want to combine them with the mesh only in the very end. But the lips have been combined. Nose been combined, and now I'm just using the smooth and fill brushes to fill up stuff. I'm using this pinch brush, so I'm using the pinch brush from Surface Tools. And that pinch brush is actually quite insane. It's so good. I think the pinch brush in Surface Tools is my number one tool to do like realistic folds. Just by the way it behaves is really cool. It just has a really nice behavior to it. So you can see here in the back of the ear, it's like not really perfect. I should have spent a bit more time there, but again, my main idea was the frontal view and maybe side view, a 3/4 view, so I didn't care too much about the back. So here I use the proxy method to drop the mesh count down to like 2 million, I think. And then I can smooth out some of those bigger creases around using the smooth tool. So I think here I was still struggling, so I had later on to drop it even lower to like, so this proxy method decimation, you can see the slide on my right, it's at 2x at the moment. I'm pretty sure I will drop it to 4x later on. I've done it on other heads. Trying to fix the ears a little bit. So here my nose was a little bit too much, so now I'm using the cuff tool to make a bigger hole. The thing is, when I'm using the pinch tool, is that every time I press enter, the pinch tool gets committed to the voxels. So if I want to make a really deep wrinkle, that wrinkle will be turned to voxels and most likely will get merged together. So there's kind of no way to do some really deep cuts in voxel mode, like cuts where the skin comes together too close. So for that, I would later on jump into the surface mode. I will commit the whole layer I will turn the whole layer to surface mode, and then I will use the pinch tool to get extra deepness on the lips. I think I'm trying to introduce a little bit of asymmetry. I'd say the best way to introduce asymmetry is actually to even start doing it on the level where I haven't merged all the layers, all the segmented layers, which I do later on other sculpts. found it's easier to start introducing asymmetry a bit early on, right? Just otherwise you start to forgetting where. Otherwise you kind of do the cheeks, add asymmetry to cheeks, asymmetry to eyebrow, but forget about the ears, or you forget to do the lips, but you forget some, I don't know, some cheek or some particular muscle, and it will look the same. I think I have an urge to fight with usually. Here I'm actually just trimming some eyelids because I moved them around too much. They got too smooth, so I had to use this a cut-off tool to trim them out and make them a bit sharper. So I have this urge all the time to add more wrinkles to the face. And it's pretty common, you'll see among creature designers. The thing is, like, the moment you start adding some wrinkles, you start to age the character, and you're like supposed to do a guy who's his 20s, but immediately you add a few wrinkles and he or she gets into 40s. So this guy is probably now either had in his 30s with a really tough life behind him, or probably like early 40s. So I would say in that range. Adding some pinching on the upper lip. This, by the way, is recorded at 4x speed. Overall, it took me about 10 minutes to get the actual design shape, or 20 minutes maximum, using that segmented head, and then maybe 1 to 2 hours to quickly merge it all together and then smooth it out here and there. If I wanted to get a like fully realistic sculpt with minor wrinkles, minor pores, I would say minor wrinkles. Minor wrinkles would have taken me another few hours. And minor pores are pretty hard to do in 3D code because you have to go to a super high poly count, and it's actually easier to do it as a normal map, and much faster than trying to using like 40 million head. At least you have to have that, and then adding those little pores, it will just be really slow, at least on my machine. So I'm doing this little test render inside 3D code. In the end, I did use Keyshot for the final render, though recently I've spent a bit more time in 3D code rendering, so I'm getting a bit more proficient and understanding how it works. Because it got a pretty big improvement over the last months, I think, the latest versions. So I'm using like 409 and 63. I'd say even this render is good enough to, to copy paste and just put it in a portfolio and be done with that. The neck muscles. So if I press the opposite control and use the pinch tool, so it will be the opposite motion, right? And that I think I used to add a little vein mark on the forehead, or on the side of the head, cranium area. So I did some wrinkles, and again, it's super easy to get too involved with the wrinkles. And before you know, you aged your character by 10 years. So I have to be super careful about adding those. And actually the thing I like doing with kind of creatures that I have the ability to add a bit more of fleshiness to the face. Alright, so that was it. I didn't really record any like rendering process. So if you want to do something similar to that and also support the channel, you can get the head on my Gumroad. The link is on the screen and also in the description. And there's a little discount that I offer at the moment for the next 3 days. And if you do anything with that head, I'm happy to see it on my Discord. Again, link in the description. Okay, so let's see you in the next video.